So I thought I'd cover this real quick. This is the guy from the Pop the Balloon game. If you don't know where he's from, it kind of went viral. I'll post the link to the channel in the description so you could go watch it. But his girlfriend, his ex, basically made a TikTok blasting him saying that, you know, coming for his character, saying that he's fake. He was very insecure. And so I didn't watch the full part one, but there's a part one, part two, and part three. I'm gonna see if I can get through all of them right now. And yeah, he ended up leaving the show with a young lady, you feel me? And apparently he made a video afterwards talking about her character, saying that she wasn't who she really was. She was looking at other guys, blah blah blah. So he might just be insecure for real. Let's get into it.
All right, now that we opened the can of worms, let's go ahead and talk about part one of Watch Who the Fuck You Date. So his name is Aaron. Aaron is my ex. We dated for a few months and it didn't last very long. And let me tell you why. He is like insane. It's like he has that little person talking to him in the corner of his shoulder at all times. Like he's making up constant stories in his head about like that I'm cheating on him, that he's got to watch his back, that I have guys in my apartment at all times, and that I'm cheating while I'm at work, when I work in a clinic full of women, by the way. So let's take it back to the beginning. So again, we met. I lived in Arizona. He lived in New Mexico. And he said, oh, I have a friend that lives in Arizona. I was actually just there. I was like, oh, dang. Well, whenever you're down here again, let's grab dinner or whatever.
Hello.
He's like, all right. He ended up coming, and his plan was to end up moving to Arizona anyway with his friend, right? He ended up at my house so much anyway that I was just kind of like, I mean, you kind of already live here. His clothes was there, everything. So I was like, fuck it. Just, that was my mistake. So my mom ends up making dinners for us all the time. We're Mexican. We make huge dinners. And the first time he went, he met the family and everything was cool. But when we left, my mom called me and she said, are you okay? And I said, what do you mean, am I okay? She said, well, I see something in his eye, like he wants to hurt you or like he wants to control you. I don't know how to tell you because I don't want you to think that I'm crazy, but I'm just telling you to be careful and really think about if this is the guy that you really want to be with. And I was like, well, I mean, it kind of is already in motion, it's already happening. So then my mom invites us over for dinner again. I think it was the next day, and we play loteria. And I guess he was just like, no, I don't want to go. Like he started little by little, kind of not wanting to be around my family. And I don't know if he noticed that my family didn't really like approve of him or whatever. I'm not too sure.
Probably not.
But anyways, that was a red flag number one. It's kind of like he was already trying to distance me from my own family. Like the only protection that I have had is from my family, and he was trying to move me away. So when I first started talking to him, I was talking to other people, as in I had a lot of guy friends. And I don't hang out with too many girls because sometimes it can get overwhelming and a lot of drama can start. So they would still text my phone, and of course, I talked to somebody else before I met him too. It kind of just ended up going in the direction with Aaron. And so they would text my phone, and he would check my phone every few hours. Every time a vibration would go off, every time I'd get a notification, he's looking at me like he wants to like literally do something to me. I don't know what was going on. It's just that look in his eyes, and you guys know because you have seen that look.
I mean, if you talking to people who you went out with in the past, that's kind of a red flag. I'm not
In the pop,
like who's not gonna get insecure if you just constantly still in communication with people in your past, like, and if it's consistent communication.
Balloon game, like this video that went viral. So he starts checking my phone every few hours. He starts to track my location. I gave him my location on my phone because I was like, I have nothing to hide, right? And I'm always either at work with him at home or with my family.
Okay. So that's one step. Let's go to part two.
All right, welcome back to part two of Watch Who You Date. We're talking about Aaron, the guy that went viral on Pop the Balloon game. So anyways, he starts to distance me from my family.
He lost his job too, by the way, apparently.
Starts to track me. I give him my location because I had nothing to hide. Every time I would walk by the window, my location would show that I was outside. So he'd call me like, what are you doing outside? Who are you messing with at work? Why aren't you working? Like, that controlling, right? Then he starts doing
People be like
pop-ups
that.
at my job, and it got so bad because he would show up in his work truck while he's supposed to be at work at my job, that my supervisor had to keep watching me. We had to basically, like, everybody had to walk me to my car after work to make sure that I made it. And the girls would text me, hey, did you make it? Again, it's a clinic full of girls. So that was a red flag number 2. And then one time I walked outside to the cafeteria and he calls me and he's like, how did I know you were outside? So that in my head was like,
He's watching.
circles are already turning. I go to my car to see if he put a tracker because he is capable of doing some shit like that. And I couldn't find anything. And then he pops up at my job like, don't break up with me, don't do this, like, I'll change. I thought I was going to catch you doing something. And I was like, how did you know I was outside, right? He said, I put my extra phone tracking you in your car and I left it on record because I was expecting to record you doing something, as in cheating on me or like messing around in your car. And I was like, I was done. After that, I was completely done. I said, get your stuff, get out of my house.
I was like, he's just really insecure. For what reason? Who knows? The thing is, sometimes like people get in shape to overcompensate for the fact that they're insecure. That could be his case, or that could just be who he is. Unfortunately, he probably has things that he has to work on. But let's not talk about the man. We're just taking one person's side of the story. She could just hate him, but I believe she's probably telling the truth. She has a part 1, part 2, part 3. She's, I don't know. I don't know why she would just purposely hate on his name, but unless she, they just had a bad falling out.
And come bring me my key. And he was like, no, I'm going to change. Whatever. I went home. He was still there. He was like, let's try to work it out. I was like, he already lives with me. He moved here, like whatever. And I was going to do it so bad. And then he went to go get coffee for me or something from Starbucks. And he was like, something's wrong with your car. And I was like, what do you mean something's wrong with my car? He's like, yeah, it started to act weird. And I was like, okay, hold on right there. My car, I have a 2019 Dodge Challenger. It's been perfectly fine. I kept up with the oil. I don't understand. All of a sudden, you're driving it and something's wrong with it. Go to part 3. All right, well,
He did something to the car, huh?
part 3, and this is the last part that I'm going to post about Aaron, the buff guy from Pop the Balloon game and Watch Who the Fuck You Date. So, he was like, yeah, your car's acting funny. I was like, no. At that point, I was like, already get out of my house. Like, I don't want you here. You ain't paid one bill. You put $20 a light one time. And maybe you spent like $30 on groceries because I was going to cook dinner one time. But my mama always told me, do not allow a man to come into your home and pay any bills because then he's going to feel like he has the right to either stay there or like, oh, I paid the rent. I live here too. But in all reality, everything that I had gotten was mine and I didn't allow him any part of that. So, I was like, all right, get out, whatever. He leaves. He still tried to contact me. I was like, no, get out. I grabbed my car. I went to my mom's house because I didn't want him to try to come back and to try to convince me. And, that's what brings to like my mind all the time. Like, you guys tell people in abusive relationships all the time, like, you need to leave, thinking that it's easy for these women to leave. And it's not. Like, yeah, they've gotten hurt or whatever, but these women are completely head over heels in love with these men. So it's not easy to leave. So I did what I thought was best. So I went to my mom's house right after. And he's calling me.
She's right. I mean, she's not wrong. I mean, even for guys, honestly. But I mean, even for guys who get cheated on, sometimes it's hard for a guy to leave if you're really, really in love and you don't think you're gonna find another person. If he don't think you're gonna find another partner in general. Sometimes people just get stuck because they're scared of moving on.
Be like, dang, you're already at somebody else's house. You're already cheating on me. I was like, whatever. And on my way to my mom's, I start to feel that my car is starting to shake. And I'm like, dang, like, what is it? I took it to 2 different mechanics that were like, it was the spark plugs, the ignition coils. I fixed that. And then I went to another mechanic because it started to shake again. And supposedly it was the same thing. They fixed that again. So I went to a 3rd mechanic and he's like, I think they might have put sugar in your gas tank. But I would need to take out the gas tank to make sure. And I was like, no, I don't think he would be capable of doing something like that. Whatever. So I couldn't find what was wrong with it. At this point, I had moved out already because I was so scared. My mom had let me borrow money because I needed to move out before my lease was up, so he didn't know where I lived. I moved apartments. So at this point, I went and got a new car. I went to the dealership and I got a new car. I changed my car. And when I asked him, hey, did you ever find out what was wrong with my Challenger? He said, yes, there was sugar in the gas tank. So this man that claims to be very godly and studies the Bible and, practices this religion, put sugar in my gas tank, tracked my car, put a phone to record me in my car. And I would do things like say everything he needed to hear, like, yeah, I cheated on you, like, because I was so scared of him being crazy. Like, this guy has a record. You guys don't know that. You guys really need to be careful who you make famous on this app. I don't want to say anything else because I feel like I already opened up a big can of worms. If you guys have any questions, I'll answer them, but I don't want to make this anymore.
So my guy is a felon, and he out here insecure, hurt, and damaging her property. Can't she sue for that? Couldn't she sue for that? I mean, I guess you need to have like evidence, but I mean, given the fact that he knew what was wrong with the car, maybe that's what it, I don't know. But you feel me? I guess her message is just watch who you make famous. And I agree, because it's so easy to just look at like a video and see someone like charming and entertaining, and then you following them and you liking their stuff, and now you and all these other people making them famous, not knowing the whole backstory to who they really are. You feel me? They could be a bad person, but you just look at the outside. You have no other information to go off of. Now you're making someone famous who was a bad person. You feel me? Maybe people could change, but it's nice to have the full context sometimes. You feel me? And I might go back and watch the actual Pop the Balloon episode and react to it and give you like further information on what I think about him, and even what I thought about his last conversation with the girl that he left with. All the other girls, from what I remember, the clip that I seen, all of the other girls didn't like him. Only one girl liked him. I think it was mostly because he was, he claimed to love God and read the Bible and blah, blah, blah. But that's besides the point. Now we got more context. This guy might in fact be crazy. Also lost his job due to the Instagram stuff, but now he has a following off of one episode. So I mean, a bunch of people followed him, I believe. And yeah, that's what it is. It's interesting, and more stuff gonna come out as we go along. Who knows, he might make a comeback to her video, and I will definitely try to show that if I see it.